Welcome to our training on setting up a PC-based data logging system. You can break into technology at any age. The key is to start small, use the right tools, and to learn a little at a time. We're going to be going over data logging, which is the process of the collection and storage of data over time. It's used to track events, troubleshoot problems with systems, and to detect trends over time. It allows you to collect data like temperature, pressure, tank level, kilowatt hours, and on-off status. We will discuss our Ethernet and Modbus TCP-based data acquisition equipment to our Easy Data Logger data logging software on our PC, HMI development that shows the status of our equipment on the computer screen, go over data logging, exporting data logs to Excel, and sending email alarms based on conditions. If you have any questions, please enter them into the chat box and we will answer them at the end of the training. I'm Maria Santella, Sales Manager here at ICP DAS USA and have worked for ICP DAS USA for over 11 years. I was an application engineer here in the past. Later in the training, Robert Morau, one of our senior application engineers, who's also worked for ICP DAS USA for over 10 years, will be showing you a demonstration and going over more details of setting up a PC-based data logging system. ICP DAS USA provides industrial control products and data acquisition systems. We provide industrial data acquisition, data communication, automation control, and test and measurement products. ICP DAS was established in 1993. It focuses on improving industrial automation technology. We provide ROHS compliant, lead-free equipment and have our ISO 9001 certification. We thoroughly test our products and provide reliable and stable, innovative solutions. We have a knowledgeable team. Many members have worked for the company for over 10 or 20 years. We provide free consultation, can specify products for your applications, provide free technical support, and help you with questions, setting up equipment, and troubleshooting issues. Our products are very reliable and come with a 1-year warranty. We provide free Easy Data Logger software for data logging, control, and monitoring, and it works with most of our data acquisition equipment. It can also work with other vendors' Modbus devices as long as you have one of our Modbus devices in the network. We carry a very large inventory and can usually ship within a week. A PC-based control and monitoring system can be set up quick and easily depending on your application. A simple system can be set up in about 5 minutes. Easy Data Logger is a free PC-based data logging, data acquisition, control, and monitoring software. Like I mentioned, it allows you to log data from our data acquisition hardware. We have data loggers that can log data in a standalone setting, and it can also log. You can also use Easy Data Logger with those to log to the PC for some redundancy. We also have the remote I/O type modules, and you can log based on configurable time intervals. The software is easy to use and doesn't require any advanced technical or programming skills. Data is collected, stored in a database, and can be exported to Excel spreadsheets. The data can be viewed in trend graph for analysis and can help show when a door is left open in a cold storage unit, when a tank is leaking, or when data is just out of the expected range. Easy Data Logger is designed for small remote I/O systems with up to 64 I/O tags. More advanced software, Advanced Easy Data Logger, is available for more advanced applications with more tags. You can set up different users in the projects, so some could allow for the starting and stopping of the project and the setting of the analog outputs and the digital output values like a machine operator would, and others can be set so you can just switch the pages for strictly monitoring. Easy Data Logger works with our i7000 and other decon modules, ET7000 and PET7000 Modbus TCP-based modules, M7000, TM series, and our power meters that communicate over Modbus RTU, our M2M cellular and M7000 Modbus solutions, and also our USB 2000 I/O modules. Easy Data Logger allows you to show up to 10 web cameras, send SMS or email alarms based on conditions, and supports basic control logic with VB script, so you can trigger outputs based on inputs and other basic control operations. It can be used in cellular-based IoT remote monitoring applications, and it can be used on the latest Windows operating systems, including Windows 10 and Windows 11. A computer connects to our Ethernet Modbus TCP-based I/O modules over Ethernet cabling and Ethernet switches. Now that's what Robert's going to be showing you later in the training. We have the ET7000 series, which uses standard Ethernet switches, and the PET7000 power over Ethernet modules have an extra option of being powered over Ethernet with power over Ethernet switches like our NS205 PSE shown here. Our modules are powered by low DC voltage, same with our other equipment too, like our communication devices here, like the Ethernet switch, and also our controllers. Low DC voltage, like 10 to 30 VDC, and configured over a standard web browser. They have different input types like encoder, voltage, current, thermocouple, RTD, and thermistor. They have different outputs like voltage, current, relay, or digital output. So data acquisition is the process of sampling real-world physical information and the conversion of those samples into digital numeric values that computers and controllers can understand. The information is often used to implement control logic operations like the turning on of a fan based on the temperature, the turning on of a pump based on a tank level, and the opening of a valve based on pressure levels. So Easy Data Logger can be used to acquire the data, log the data, and also implement control logic operations like I just mentioned. An HMI is a human-machine interface. It allows you to receive information through a visual user interface like temperature, count, tank level, or on-off status. An IP camera can show you the visual overview of your application, like the state of a bridge, a river lock, or a dam. An HMI can have buttons, indicator lights, and graphics that an operator can interact with for the turning on or off of equipment, sending commands, viewing historical information, generating reports, or for just monitoring the system. Easy Data Logger allows you to make different layouts and has a variety of gauges, numerical displays, and other objects to choose from so you can display and present your information. You can also import your own graphics. It has work groups, gauges, trend reporting, and allows you to visualize the information. Later in the training, Robert's going to be showing you how to develop an HMI with Easy Data Logger. And also is going to show you the data logging of information from data acquisition modules. We provide some programmable automation controllers, PAC controllers. They come with Windows CE.NET 7.0. So they can run data logging programs like eLogger software that we provide for a standalone solution that can be accessed over a web page through an IP address of the PAC controller. Both eLogger and Easy Data Logger can log data in a database, work with our I/O modules, and run on a PC. Just eLogger can be run on our PACs, and the data can be easily used over its web server. So you'd be able to interface with the program just like as if you're right in front of your computer, so you can interface with it remotely. Here's the basic kind of steps you do in Easy Data Logger for exporting the data log to Excel. or for a CSV type file, you open Easy Data Logger, and then you click the System Config button. And then you go to edit the settings. So you save the interval, the record time, and the database file. And you click the local database and you save it. The save interval has to be greater than or equal to the sampling time. And the sampling time needs to be in minutes. So to be able to export the data from Excel from a local database, you just have to click the Open Database button. And then you click the database in the list, or you select the button with the 3 dots to be able to browse your computer and find the file. Then you click on the work group list, so you can select the work group. Choose the time range. You click table, and then you load the table data, and you click export. And that's going to be exporting your data to Excel. If you want to send an email alert out, you can set the mail notifier driver. What you got to do is open Easy Data Logger, click Group Setup in the Work Group Setting form. In the driver list, you select Mail Notifier, and then you click Modify. And then you edit the Mail Notifier driver. You set your sender configuration, click Modify to finish the settings, and then click the Close button to close the setting form. So you edit the contact list to configure the person who's going to be getting the email as your email receiver. And you can also set more than one person in there, more than one email address. And you can use the same tag name with different contacts. So whenever that alarm is going to happen, all the contacts with that same tag will get notified. So if you just want to set the alarm for an analog input channel to notify someone, you click Modify, specify the tag name for like a high alarm and low alarm, and then you click Modify. When the higher low alarm is happening, the warning email is going to be sent out to the email address specified by the tag name. So when you're sending email alarms out over cellular, if Easy Data Logger, the project is added Mail Notifier or GSM modem driver, the software is going to automatically execute and minimize to the icon tray on your computer. You can right click that little icon and select main if you want to see the main form. And in the main form is where you can enable or disable the email and SMS settings sending. So now I'm going to switch over to Robert as the presenter.
Today I will be showing you how to connect a Modbus TCP data acquisition module to Easy Data Logger. I'll show you how to configure the Modbus TCP driver. I will then show you how to configure email sending for an alarm. And finally, I'll pretty much show you the same steps Maria just did, but live, showing how to convert the data file into a Microsoft Excel file. Okay, so this is the module I have connected right here, ET7026. It's a Modbus TCP data acquisition module with a 6-channel voltage and current input. I have it set for voltage input on one of the analog inputs. It also has 2 analog outputs, which I'll use to trigger the analog input to set off an alarm condition later. I also have, or I'm sorry, this module also has 2 digital inputs and 2 digital outputs, which we will not use for this demo, but in the future, if you do need this combination, we have this combination, plus we have a whole bunch of other combinations of IO channels. So if you need those, please look at the selection table or give us a call and we'll be happy to help you choose the correct module. Okay, so let's see, with this Modbus TCP data acquisition module, we have our web HMI. Currently have 2 volts going to the analog input as shown here. Let's see, it's controlled by analog output, which I have wired directly to the analog input. Let's see, right, currently it shows 1.999, but it's actually 2. So let's just change it to 4 to show you how to do it. Click apply, and then we go back to our analog input. Again, I do have the analog output directly tied to the analog input channel so that we can utilize it for this demo. And let's see, and basically you just need to know IP address, port 502, and the Modbus registers that you want to log for Easy Data Logger. To do this, you go to Easy Data Logger. Let me start a new project. So to do this, you click on Home, or this is actually what you'll see when you first start up the program. So you project, new, and let's see, we'll call it webinar 2022-0323 for today's date. This will be the screen which you'll see when you first start up the project or start up Easy Data Logger with a new project. Notice there are 3 work groups. For this example, we're going to work exclusively with work group 1, but you can have 3 different machines or 3 different sections, depending on how many you want, or you can add additional ones or remove them as well. To do this, you go to Group Setup, click up here, and then I'll just remove those extra 2 groups so we don't get confused. Let's see, the first thing you want to do is install the Modbus TCP driver or create your connection to the module. So to do this, you click on install, then we want to use Modbus TCP. Easy Data Logger also, as you can see, can communicate with Modbus serial or Modbus R2 devices, which are the most common, as well as our DCON modules, which are our i7000 modules for the most part. For this example, we're going to use Modbus TCP. Let's see, I need to enter my IP address for my module or my Modbus TCP slave device. In this case, 118. Port 502 is by the default pretty much for all Modbus devices, but if you do need to change it, you change it here. Then you click install. And then let's see, click on plus device to add the device with the tags. Notice that we have the ranges down here for analog inputs, analog outputs, digital inputs, and digital outputs. You can check the boxes manually if you know the channel configuration, or if you have one of our modules, we offer a simple configuration where we can choose a module from a drop-down list. Since I do have a ET7026 and it is in the drop-down list, I'll just select it. Note that down here auto fills. But if you did not have one of our modules, you could certainly fill these in automatically, or I'm sorry, manually by yourself. Again, this module has 6 analog input channels numbered 0 through 5, and 2 digital outputs, 2 digital inputs, and 2 analog outputs. We're going to add these tags to the project, and note in the background that it did appear. And let me close this and close this. And let's see, the different tags will be shown in the different lists. So analog inputs will be shown here, analog outputs, digital inputs, and digital outputs. Let's see, one thing for the analog inputs, you will want to scale them if, well, you will want to scale them. So to do that, you double click on each individual channel. You can rename the tag if you want, but here's where you set the scaling. For instance, this module, I believe, let's see, we're in the plus or minus 10 volts, so it'd be negative 10,000. I think we have 3 decimal points to 10,000. And then let's see, it's negative 10 to 10. This will convert the decimal point. When you click on calculate, Easy Data Logger will calculate the gain and offset for these values. If you know them by default, you can certainly set them by yourself. And this is a step we're going to set up for later, where we're going to set an alarm value to trigger an alarm. For this one, let's say if the value goes over 9 volts or below, let's say below 1 volt, we will trigger an alarm. And the mail, oops, I don't have a tag yet. I'll create this in a couple minutes. Let's modify this. And now let's go to the mail notifier. This is what's required for sending an email alarm. First, you must set up your email server settings, click on mail notifier, and then modify. You need to enter your email address. Robert. Let's see, for Gmail settings, it'd be similar to this where you just click on my server requires SSL. The Gmail server automatically populates. Port 465 does work for me. You may need to modify some of the Gmail settings. I believe there's a setting about extra security called, what is it called? Two-step verification. I think you have to disable that for this to work, but I can help you troubleshoot if necessary. Let's see. So again, I enter my email address at ICP DAS. My server does require password authentication. So now I enter my password. Add a typo there. Okay, if you wanted to name the machine, you could put a name here. For this example, I will just leave it blank, but it'll just, as an example, you could put station name like machine 1 or tank 1 or something if you want to identify this and you have different projects or alarms. So to do this, now we just click modify and it'll save the settings and then we close it. And let's see, the next thing we need to do is add a email to send a contact list. For this, I'll just call it Robert. The tag name by default is engineer. This will be shown in a couple minutes, but we can name it anything we want. Say I call it alarm. And then we enter our email address that we want it sent to. I'll just send it to myself. So again, these are the addresses where the email will be sent to. The previous setting up here was the email server for the PC. Okay. So we click add. The tag name will shown here. The phone number we're not going to use for this, but essentially when an alarm condition is triggered, we want to trigger the tag called alarm and send it to myself. And the next thing we need to do is go back to here, the analog input channel, and we'll reconfigure this so that now it's alarm. So that when the analog input is either higher than 9 volts or lower than 1 volt, we will send an email alarm. So click modify to save that. Let's see. Then from here, we need to add our tag to the data log. So we want to monitor this one tag, which is the analog input channel. I'll also add the analog output channel so you can see that they're both the same. Actually, it'll show you that the difference between scaling and not scaling. Let me click on home. And we will start the project. What we want to do is monitor up here for the on condition of our device. Note right here, there's no alarm conditions, and we'll go to the trend curve and we could see the value. Currently have 4 volts, or it's measuring 4.004 volts, and this is the unscaled value 4,000. I will, on my other screen, go here and we'll change it to, let's change it to 0.9 so that we can trigger an alarm and an email. 0.9, and we click apply. Oh, not like that. Why? Let's just do 9. Let's try 9.5. Let's put the 0 in front of it. So we'll trigger a high alarm. Oopsie. That's because we're out of scale. Let's see, let me stop this, But note that because I went over the alarm value, this message will pop up here. And then we also see send email okay. The result would be a sample email, which I opened here. It would look something similar to this, where essentially I created an alarm condition. ET7026, this is a tag name, the high alarm value, and it'll display the value. 2004 was greater than 2000 or 200 in that previous example, but because I did scale it, it should have shown something like greater or 9.5 greater than 9 is what I defined in the project, which was back here. Where we go here, this channel. Click. So if it was, since it was higher than 9, I triggered the alarm. Okay, let's see. The next thing I want to do is show you how to view the data in Excel format. To do that, you have to have the database stopped. So you would see start here. Then you click on open database at the top. Sorry about that, it's thinking right now. Okay, a window like this will appear. On the left side are the current databases that I have previously done. You would select your file name based on which database you want to select. We'll just select this one. And you select which work group. Most likely I use work group 1. Then you click load table or load trend to view the data. We don't have much data in here. Let me try to find another one with some more data. Let's try this one. Does not exist anymore. So, okay, this one's got some data. So it has a table here. I basically click on export. Then you have the option to either do Excel or TXT file. Both will work with Excel, but to click it to save in XLS format, you click on Excel. It will convert, and the file will open. It's opening on my other screen. I'll show you in a second as soon as it finishes opening. Still thinking, there we go. Okay, the result is here. And this is our data log file in Excel format. That's all I have for you today. If anyone has any questions, please type them in the chat box or what do you call it? Raise your hand in the
We have
Zoom
a
window and we can unmute you and you can ask it live.
okay. We have a question from Howard. Can the Easy Data Logger be used with the TPD controllers?
If the TPD is considered a slave device, yes, but you can also or it's also required that you have one of our data acquisition modules connected to use the free version. Otherwise, you'd have to use the advanced version. So if you wanted to, let's see, save data from the TPD as a slave device, traditionally that's not done actually, because the TPD is usually a master device. You can have it be a slave device, and also it has a Modbus TCP port, so it can be a Modbus TCP slave, but traditionally that's not used. We
So
can use it.
technically, they could be in the same application, but you'd likely
Yes,
want to log the data from the I/O devices.
yes, the data acquisition module. So if the question is, can you log, or I'm sorry, can you use the TPD simultaneously with Easy Data Logger? Yes. So both the TPD and Easy Data Logger were connected to ET module to log data. You could do that if that's the question. If not, please type some more details and I'll be happy to answer your question. Let's see.
Or if you have any questions later, you can always email them to tech@icpdas-usa.com or contact us on our web chat on the website.
Yes. Let's see, does anyone else have any questions? I don't see any more, but Howard, if you have more details as well, please type more details if I didn't answer your question.
Okay, so it doesn't seem there's any more questions. So thank you everyone for attending. And if you have any projects we can help with or anything, please feel free to contact us. We'd love to help you.
Yes, and enjoy your day and please be safe.
Thank you.